This show is designed to give general information related to investing and finance. Neither Aaron Katzman, his guests, nor the radio station are rendering legal, tax, or specific investment advice. If you need such advice, contact a licensed advisor.
And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We're here today to speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. As always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. And you know what? People say, what are you talking about, the financial capital of the world? Well, hello, read the papers, right? The biggest M&As, the biggest mergers and acquisitions in Israel's history have actually taken place with companies based in Jerusalem. Jerusalem has actually become a tech powerhouse, a hub for technology innovation. So, as I say, soon Jerusalem will be the financial capital of the world, as it is already the spiritual capital of the world. We've got a great show for you. But before we get to that, if you got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, Aaron, at Lighthouse with an L, lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il. Or you can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatzman.com. That's www.aaronkatsman, aaronkatzman.com, aaronkatzman.com. So, we should learn from people who are successful. They're in Ethics of the Fathers. It's a traditional Jewish text that goes back to the Tannaitic period, before the temples were destroyed. There's in the fourth chapter, the beginning of the fourth chapter, it says like this: Ben Zoma said, "Who is wise? One who learns from every man." So I would postulate, if you want to say be rich, maybe you want to learn from rich people, right? If you want to be poor and you want to be in debt, well, why don't you learn from people who are in debt? If you want to, if you want to be smart in math, well, you don't get somebody who fails math to teach you, right? You want to learn from people who are experts, from people who have succeeded in their field. So when it comes to gaining wealth, building wealth, trying to become a wealthy person or financially secure, because I'm not sure that wealth or being rich is the ultimate goal, but being financially secure is certainly important. Why not learn from other people who are financially secure? Now you're going to say, Katzman, give me a break. Everybody knows that rich people didn't earn their money. They inherited it. They were given it on a silver platter. They didn't do anything. Well, you know what? That's bogus. You know why? Because statistics don't back that up. Over about 80% of people in a recent survey said that they grew up either poor or middle class. Yes, they didn't grow up rich and then inherit the money. Most millionaires, believe it or not, did it themselves. They didn't take on debt to become millionaires, right? They didn't max out their credit cards. They saved, they earned. They weren't even earning, $500,000 a year. There are plenty of millionaires who made $70,000, $80,000 a year. Their spouse may have worked also. And you know what? They didn't live an extravagant lifestyle. They lived with what they need. And they put the rest of them away. And year after year, you keep doing that. And voila, you invest correctly and bam. All of a sudden, you're a millionaire. It's not that difficult. So that's what I want to speak to you about. You're listening to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. If you've got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, Aaron, at lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il. Or you can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatzman.com. So, that we can gain knowledge from every man points to the individual worth of each and every one of us. No one has a monopoly on wisdom. Of course, yours truly is awfully close to a monopoly, obviously, because the wisdom that people receive from this show is second to none. But, nobody's got a monopoly on wisdom. That being said, it goes without saying that certain individuals may have an expertise that other people lack. So most questions in a specific field should be directed to the expert, like I said at the beginning. When it comes to money, we can learn a lot from how the rich relate to their money. Nonetheless, it might be applicable to those satisfied with their lot as well. Wealthy people tend to have similar approaches to their money. I know, like I said, some of you are going to say, well, they're rich, grew up rich, and they're used to a different standard of living than the rest of us, so this is not relevant. Well, as I said before, 80% of those surveyed said they grew up poor or middle class. A recent survey of nearly 700 high net worth individuals by U.S. Trust shows that they all have a lot in common vis-a-vis their financial management. Now, I want to give you some tips how to manage your money the way that the rich people manage their money. And hopefully that'll lead you to a financially secure future. The first thing is, don't think about today, think about tomorrow, right? Don't live for today. As I always speak about, it's important to plan for the long term, even at the expense of instant gratification, some instant pleasure right now. Of the over 80% of those high net worth investors said investing in the long-term goals is more important than funding current wants and needs. You need to pay yourself first and make saving a priority. If you spend first and save second, you're going to find out, you know what? Hello, there is nothing left to save. Why? Because you spent every last dime that you could have. So that's not so smart, is it? Pay yourself first. Save first, spend later. Not the opposite way of doing things, which unfortunately is like the plague of this generation, of the millennial generation. Chocolate and vanilla. Right? Katie Hill at MarketWatch, where I'm a contributor, obviously, said fully 85% of high net worth investors said they made their biggest investment gains through long-term buy and hold strategies, right? In which they bought investments and held them for many, many, many years. And they did this by using traditional stocks and bonds. Over almost 90% used that approach. They didn't day trade, right? They don't go what I call as water cooler stocks, right? They don't speak to their friends when they're getting a cup of coffee at the office and get like their pick, right? They don't trade stocks based on a massive email blast that they received pumping some kind of penny stock. They buy good quality investments and hold them for a very long time. It might be boring, right? But it's the tried and true way of building wealth. They create an asset allocation model and stick to it, updating it from time to time as their goals and needs change. We're speaking about tips that rich people give to become wealthy, right? Makes sense to follow what they do on their path to financial security. You're listening to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. If you've got any questions or comments on what I am saying here or on any other topic, feel free to email me at aaron@lighthousecapital.co.il, or you can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatzman.com. Back to the tips. So we spoke about buy and hold approach to investing. We spoke about the most important thing is delaying instant gratification and saving first and only spending second. The last thing I'd like to speak about is what I would call reality television. While not mentioned in this particular survey, many other surveys point to the fact that the rich, especially those who are self-made millionaires, and that's the majority, keep in mind, don't waste a lot of time in front of the television. They tend to watch sports and the news, and that's about it. They don't waste their time watching reality television. They believe that it's more important to live their own life, not watching a bunch of, I don't want to say losers, but other people wasting their time watching how they live their life in some kind of sequestered environment. It really doesn't help you do anything. They attribute their success to ambition, hard work, and family upbringing. None of them answered they got rich by watching a bunch of people thrown into a mansion together and seeing how they got along with each other. That's not the way to success. I speak to my kids about this all of the time. You get one chance to live your own life, right? You get one chance, and you were given by the grace of God certain talents. And what you're supposed to do is maximize whatever those talents are, figure them out, and try and create as much as you possibly can. You get one shot to live, and if you're going to waste your chance on the couch, watching a bunch of other people living their lives, well, isn't that sort of not the point? Think about it. Is that not the point? People don't get wealthy by watching television, especially by watching Neanderthal-like television, pointless television. So let's learn from those self-made millionaires and apply their approach to life and money to our own financial situation, okay? Do me a favor. Please do that. I've got enough problems trying to convince my kids that that's the way to success. All right? Watching other people live their life is bad news. Live your own life to the best of your ability. Maximize your talents. Start saving money. You don't have to buy the first thing that you save. Save money first. Save money. You know what? You can go to a fancy dinner in 3 months from now. You don't have to go today. On the day you get your check, your paycheck, you don't have to go out and blow it on beer. Put some money into the bank. Put some money into an investment. That's the way to grow wealth. That's the way over the long term to become financially secure. And that way you don't have to complain. Oh, it's not fair. The system's stacked against you. The system's not stacked against you. You just have to figure out how to use the system, not in a negative way, but use with your talents. Take advantage of what of the infrastructure that's out there and create, success for yourself. It's not that hard. You can do it. You're listening to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. I'm here to speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. If you've got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, Aaron, at lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il, or you can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatzman.com, www.aaronkatsman, aaronkatzman.com, aaronkatzman.com. Until next time,